Alright, I am out here in my barn. I haven't got my wood cook stove done just yet. This is progress though. I got the wall back up yonder. I've got a piece of metal back yonder that I've cut out for the hole. But this video is, I brought this out here to make in my barn. It is, there's that section right there. So pretty. But anyway, I'm going to make a pine needle tincture today. This is white pine. This white pine is from the Appalachians. That makes it very, very special for me. It smells wonderful. What we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to cut it up. I forgot to bring my funnel out here, but we're going to be very careful to get it in the jar without spilling it all over the place because you don't want to waste any of this pine needle. I'm going to go ahead and cut it up, get it into the jar. That's a half-gallon size jar. I'm thinking I've got enough for that because I've got more in the bag there. If it's not enough to fill this jar, or at least get it 3/4 of the way, I brought a quart-sized jar out here just in case to be on, you know, the knowing side of things. I always use 80 proof vodka. This is the brand I always use, Swevka. I'm going to go ahead and get this cut up for you. Then I'm going to tell you the benefits, what it's used for, you know, things like that. So you'll have a better understanding of why you need to make yourself, your family, pine needle tincture. A lot of folks take the pine needles, they pick them fresh, then they make a tea with them and drink the tea. It's wonderful. It's very well-being for your body. It just, you can hear my cow in the background bawling. She acts like she's starving to death, but she's not, trust me. We're going to get back to this. I'm back, and I've got my jar 3/4 of the way full. And that probably took about 3 ounces of pine needle to get a half a gallon to about 3/4 of the way full. Now, it's not packed in there like really deep or really hard. It is kind of packed a little bit, but loosely packed. You want whatever size jar you have. If you have a pint size jar or a quart size jar or half gallon or even a gallon, you want it with dry plant matter like pine needles. You want to at least fill your jar to 3/4 of the way. You don't really want to fill it no more than that because it needs some room for expansion, and you want to make sure you have ample room for your vodka to be able to, you know, actually have enough of a remedy. You're going to get a right smart out of this, you know, no worries on that. Now at this step, all you simply do is you take your vodka, okay, and you just pour it in there. It smells, not the vodka, but this pine needles, this white pine needle smells amazing. I'm not going to have enough in this one. I didn't think I would. So I'm going to have to run to the old farmhouse here on the farm and get another bottle of vodka. Okay, I'll get all that last drop in there. Every last drop counts in a tincture because every little drop is part of a dosage. So every drop counts in a tincture. That's why I try to get every single drop out of the vodka that I can, because that's going to be a drop of remedy. Don't be wasteful. Get everything out you can. All right, I'm going to put y'all down. I'm going to run to the old farm kitchen here. I'm going to grab another bottle of vodka, and then we're going to come and top this off. All right, I am back after a very brisk, cool walk. We're going to grab the vodka, and it's full. You got to be careful. Well, I mean, you'd be more careful because you probably wouldn't be recording yourself. All right, we're going to go ahead and top this off. It does take a right smart for a half a gallon jar, y'all. You don't have to do them in big jars like this. You can do them in small jars. You can do them in a half-pint jar if you need to. You know, I have increased my jar sizes because there's different folks that get in contact with me now that ask for remedies. Therefore, I make extra now. Instead of making this a quart size, I make it a half-a-gallon size. Because of the benefits, the remedies that this provides, which I will tell you in just a minute, you'll understand. Now, this will keep pretty much, you know, for indefinite. This is a tincture. This is made with 80 proof vodka. It will keep for a very long time. This is one of the smartest ways to preserve your herb. And yes, this is an herb. Pine needle is an herb. All right, let me go ahead and top that off a little bit more. The reason you fill it up pretty much to the tippy top is because you don't want no oxidation in there. You see a lot of folks, when they make their tinctures, they only go right above the herb. You know, that's their method. I'm not coming down on it. But you don't want oxidation in your jars. That's the way I learned. That's the way I do it. You get more tincture this way too. You know, you fill your jar to, you get a jar the size that you're going to use. There's no need in getting a quart size jar and then only filling it a quarter of the way with pine needles and then half the way with, you know, vodka and having all that air space in between it. There's just no sense in that. This is the best way to do it. Get you a jar that's going to fit your needs. You have a very large family, get a very large jar. Or if you help others, you know. Being an herbalist, you really can really help folks. Because these remedies come from YaDaH, our maker, our creator. You know, these are given to us through him. That's why we've got to get away from the pharmaceutical sorcery and poisons of all this junk that, you know, we've been brought up in, we've been stuck with, you know, all this mess. You really need to come back to, first you need to come back, you need to come to YaDaH. Get rid of all that pagan religion hoo-ha mess. Then you need to come and you need to start walking the ancient paths. Find his way, his HALAL'YaHuaH, his ways. This is part of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take my cap. I put a little seal in there. I'm going to go ahead and cap it. Normally I would take like a butter knife and kind of stir it around in there for any air holes. I didn't bring that out either, but I'm going to go ahead and cap it. Yeah, them little seals don't necessarily stay inside those lids, which is aggravating. But I'm going to go ahead and cap it. I'm going to put y'all down while I cap this because it'll be a lot easier. Now all you got to do is, I went ahead and put the cap on it. And I kind of shook it like that from side to side right yonder. Then I relieved the cap a little bit and let the air come out that was kind of like stuck in between the needles. That's another way you can do it. You're going to want to take this. You're of course going to want to label it. So I'm going to make a label and I'm going to stick it right on top of the lid there. You're going to want to put it away in a cool, dark spot. Now, this is the normal for at least 8 weeks. I always go longer, especially if I don't need something like ASAP. My tinctures will steep for months to over a year or two at times. I realize that after a certain period of time, it's not going to get any stronger, but it's still preserved, and I'm not going to strain that tincture until I need that tincture, or I can skim some from the top of that tincture, you know, as I need. It's a lot easier whenever you do strain it, put it in the amber bottle, you know, and do it that direction. That you know, I do that whenever I make time to do that, for sure, because that's the best way to do it. You want to put it in a dark, you know, amber bottle when it gets done. Now you want to put it in a dark spot also to steep. This, I always go longer than 8 weeks. I don't go no less than 12 weeks for my tinctures. For any of my tinctures. I don't care if it's a flower. I don't care if it's pine needles. If it's Roots, I always let steeper longer than that. You know, my roots, because I use 80 proof only. I can't get my hands on 100 proof, but I use 80 proof. But roots, I let them steep for half a year to longer, to whenever I need them. If they're, you know, roots that I dug up and I cut up. Now, if it's powder, if it's a powdered herb, you don't have to let it go that long because it's so little pieces that it just pulls out of those pieces. But I use powders, but I prefer the whole plant, you know, the leaf, so I can cut it up within that minute and get it tinctured. But I do use powders that if I don't have that certain herb, I will order or go purchase that certain herb from an herb store or Amish store, and then make my tincture or my oils, you know, whatever I'm in the need of at that moment. But yeah, this is going to sit in my cupboard for at least 12 weeks. More than likely a lot longer than that before I even use it. It smells wonderful. The pine needles, just the white pine is the most amazing aroma that you can just smell. It just does so much for you. It's a beautiful YaDaH scent, YaDaH smell. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read to you the benefits of pine needle tincture. All right, here we go. I'm just going to look down and read it, okay? I wrote it down so I can tell y'all. Pine is a reliever of sinuses, also of the lungs. Congestion, like lung congestion. In other words, if you got like a cold or something going on, this is a wonderful remedy for you. It also helps restore wounds plus skin infections. It improves brain well-being, cholesterol. Pine needle is an expectorant. In other words, it causes mucus to be removed from your chest and your lungs. It brings it up like mullein. Mullein is another beautiful expectorant. It actually pairs well with mullein too. It is antimicrobial, which means it simply removes the bad microorganisms that's come into your body. It is anti-inflammatory, which is pretty much, you know, self-explanatory. It fights against inflammation within your body. Overall, it's an overall remedy for coughs, colds, allergies, UTIs, urinary tract infections, and sinus infections. That's most of its benefit. Plus, if you have like essential oil, pine needle essential oil, and you just smell it, it does very much for you just to smell it. It makes you glad for it. What's the word I'm looking for? Not relieves, but it relaxes you. It really is. And it's a coolant, you know, it has a cool effect to it. I encourage you to make a white pine needle tincture. I have to say this. They make us say this so we don't get in trouble. I ain't a doctor. I ain't a nurse. I am an herbalist. And more importantly than that, I am a bat Shal YaHUaH. I am a daughter of YaHUaH. That is the most important thing you can ever be. You become a Yalad, a child of YaHUaH, and he will supply all your need. You know, your body's going to suffer different things that you've put it through in the past. You know, you're not going to not ever suffer through life, through Hayy. But we have him there to bring us through. He is the ultimate Rapha. You know, he is the one who restores us. I encourage you, you know, to learn the herbs, definitely. I do not take responsibility of any of your actions with your herbs. You are your own, you know, you have to study your own way. You have to study your own Devarim words. You have to learn this. You can't just slap something together not knowing its benefits. And most importantly, you have to know that you ain't allergic. My little sister, well, she's not. She's like, you know, 11 years younger than me. She's allergic to pine needle, poor thing. You have to make sure you're not allergic. All right? All right. HALAL'YaHUaH Baruch Yom in Yahuwah. Don't forget to stock up on your remedies. These are the restorers that we are to partake of. Don't combine these with any pharmaceutical poisons. All right? You'll have to learn how to make your own decisions in what you're going to stay on. Shalom from Hilltop Hollar, y'all. Have a Baruch day. HALAL'YaHUaH.